Greetings, welcome to Facts About Everything. I'm your host, James Egan. Today we're going to look at the 1976 film, Rocky. This is one of the most inspirational films ever. Not just the film itself, but the entire process of making it as well. It's common knowledge that Sylvester Stallone wrote the story of Rocky. Stallone was offered $350,000 by the producers to not be in the movie. Sylvester Stallone at the time was basically a nobody. They wanted to get some big actor like Burt Reynolds. Now, look at it this way. When they made the offer of giving him over $250,000, he had $106 to his name. He didn't own a car. He was going to sell his dog because he couldn't afford dog food. And before he pursued acting, he was a zoo janitor. People wouldn't even sit beside him in the subway because he smelled so bad. Despite this, Stallone refused and said, "I'll only make the film if I'm in it," knowing that they would offer him far, far less. But it all worked out, as Rocky became one of the most celebrated films of the 1970s. And that is the first fact about Rocky. Let's dive in. Although it sounds like the producers were being really hostile and nasty to Sylvester Stallone, they did have a lot of faith in the script. When the film went over budget, the producers themselves raised $100,000 by remortgaging their houses. One random fact on the internet is Sylvester Stallone wrote the entire story in 3 days. In Into the Actor's Studio, he said that's not exactly what happened. He said, "I wrote an idea for a story in 3 days. It wasn't actually a proper script until much later." Cher auditioned for Adrian. A lot of sources say that Rocky was inspired by Rocky Marciano. Although that's true, he was mostly inspired by Chuck Wepner. Wepner fought Muhammad Ali on March 24th, 1975. Wepner was considered an ordinary boxer, and no one believed he could last longer than 3 rounds against the most celebrated boxer in history. However, Chuck managed to knock Ali down in the 9th round. Ali eventually won with 19 seconds left in the 15th round, but only after Wepner broke his nose and he had huge gashes above his eyes. Rocky's dog is Stallone's actual dog. His name is Butkus. This was the most successful film of 1976, making $117 million. You might be thinking, no film that year made more than $117 million? That's barely anything. You must understand, this was 1976. The following year, Star Wars came out, which redefined what successful movie means, since it made 7 times more than this film. But it's still pretty impressive. Although $117 million doesn't sound like a lot, the film only cost $950,000 to make, meaning that the film made over 100 times its budget. It won the Oscar for Best Picture in 1977. The photos of Rocky as a boy are actually of a young Stallone. Stallone got so out of breath during his training scenes that he had to quit smoking. In the meat locker scenes, Stallone punched the slabs so many times that his knuckles are permanently flat. The director was John Avildsen. He has never watched a boxing match. He has also never seen a boxing film. Stallone trained for 6 months for the role of Rocky. Carl Weathers and Burgess Meredith had to share a small dressing room because the budget was so small. The entire film was shot in 28 days. It took 35 hours to shoot the boxing scenes. Rocky's name isn't Rocky. His real name is Robert. Stallone wanted Harvey Keitel to play Paulie. Stallone's brother Frank cameos as a street band's lead singer. Stallone's father Frankie cameos as the bell ringer. In one scene, Burt Young had to act drunk. An actual drunkard wandered on set and told him his performance was unconvincing. Young then copied the drunk's demeanor. While shooting the final fight, Stallone suffered bruised ribs and Carl Weathers damaged his nose. Weirdly, the characters had the opposite injuries. This was the first sports film to win an Oscar for Best Picture. Michael Dorn plays Apollo Creed's bodyguard. This was the first film that he ever appeared in. Dorn is best known for playing the Klingon Worf in Star Trek The Next Generation. This was the 3rd major film ever made to use a Steadicam. The others were Bound for Glory and Marathon Man. Both came out the same year as this film, 1976. And finally, the most expensive part of the film was the makeup. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Please let me know if there's any other films you want me to do a video about, and I'll upload it as soon as possible. If you want to know more facts about the Rocky film, as well as the other Rocky movies, check out my Sylvester Stallone video. To learn more facts, check out my books on Amazon. They're available on paperback and Kindle. Thanks for watching. See you again.